And welcome. I'm Shadonna Bartholomew, and I am here with Eugene Bartholomew. We are residents of Prince William County. Eugene has just completed his senior year, and he is off getting ready to leave next week, headed to Shenandoah University, where he's going to be majoring in music performance. So we're here to talk to Eugene about his experience with scholarships from a student point of view. So, welcome, Eugene.
Thank you.
So we're going to go ahead and begin. How did you get started with scholarships?
Yes, I got started by looking for them in my church community. My church grandma Randy, she always sends out like these small scholarships for about $500. So we started with some of those and applying for them. I think applying for the first one can kind of be, I guess, like a scary part because you don't know what to expect. But I think once you apply for your first one, you kind of get a feel for how it is, what the process is like applying for it, seeing if it involves essay, no essay. I think just figuring out how the whole process is.
Now, what about someone that doesn't have like an email scholarship, that doesn't have like an email ministry, that maybe not get them that way? What's another way that they could go about looking for scholarships?
I think definitely Googling always helps. Google, always find some pretty big ones. Chick-fil-A does scholarships, Coca-Cola, Novak. All of them have scholarships out there. I think Dunkin' Donuts actually has one too. Just big scholarships like that. Googling also helps. Greek Life also has a ton. Fraternities, sororities, they have a ton of them. When I got later into the process of finding scholarships, I've played for a couple of these organizations, so I kind of had an inside foot into the scholarship process, so I kind of just started talking to them, and they also had scholarship programs, so I applied to those as well. Naviance is also a great start. I think actually that is where I would recommend starting, as a matter of fact. Naviance is basically your school system to help apply and set up for college, but they also have a list of scholarships. And I would think they have a huge list of scholarships to apply for, and I would start there. This is built in with your school system.
Okay, so for those that may not have Naviance, your school probably has some type of application or something that has scholarships. So if you a little nervous about Googling, I would say start with the school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of segment it into where to find scholarships at. You already kind of started with you saying like Google, the different ones like you say Chick-fil-A, things you never think of that have scholarships.
Yes.
As your parent, you could say like one of the things too would be like credit unions. Any other places that you could think of that may be helpful?
Google, Greek Life for sure. I definitely support the Greek Life one. I think that was probably the biggest way I racked up money. If you have military parents, military scholarships, I do have military parents, and definitely apply for some military scholarships. Those are very good ones to apply for.
That's a good insight.
Mm-hmm.
People don't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, so what other advice though you would give that you can give to students that are looking for scholarships?
I would say that understand that the scholarship process is a process that will last throughout the entire school year once you start. And once you start, it pretty much, depending on how serious you are about it, it becomes your life at some point. I'd recommend getting some sort of tracker to keep track of, because then when you get to sending them to schools, it makes it easier to know what stuff you've sent already, and the whole process of actually sending money over can be quite complicating as well. So I'd set up a tracker to track the scholarships that you've applied for, received, sent to the schools, stuff like that, because that process can get overwhelming as well. The whole process of scholarships is overwhelming.
What about like, telling them like the importance of the due dates, like one reason for tracking them because of
The due dates are also quite challenging. Some require specific essays, and just getting them in time by the due date is also very important. You don't want to put too much on yourself at one time, especially when you have to have them at a specific due date, because some of them can be quite challenging, and you want to make sure that you get them in on time because the due date is set and final.
Was it tough juggling scholarships in school?
Yes, 100%, without a doubt.
Okay, so just wrap it all up. Want to sum up everything that we talked about for our audience as far as like the scholarship process, like beginning, when it get tough, you continue to push through.
So definitely start by Naviance or whatever system your school has to look for scholarships. Greek Life, Google, just Googling scholarships, hearing about them from other people, friends, family. and just keep applying, because I think you mentioned it in the other segment, but just applying for scholarships, because you never know that who applies and who doesn't. And I think, yes, wait, there was one other thing. What are scholarships? The smaller scholarships will eventually rack up, and those smaller ones, it's good to go for the big ones, but the big ones you have a significantly lower chance than smaller scholarships. The smaller niche-based scholarships, especially if you're a minority too, minority scholarships are really good as well. So I think start with smaller niche-based scholarships. I think are better to apply for, and those if you start winning those, they rack in very quickly.
You mentioned one thing about need-based, and I know we was wrapping it up, but what if someone doesn't qualify for need-based?
So if you don't qualify for need-based, other scholarships that don't apply or need-based would be the ones to go for. Most of them specify.
Okay. Would you recommend applying for need-based even if you don't qualify?
You can. If they don't hard require it, then yeah, go for it. But most of the time they probably will.
Okay.
And if you are need-based, there are some websites that are specific for need-based scholarships, and I know there was one website, I forgot the name of it, but there's websites where you can apply to top universities such as Harvard, UPenn, USC, I think, but top schools where you can apply for need-based scholarships and get full rides there for need-based students.
Well, thank you, Eugene, for joining us today, and that's all that we have. Thank you again for joining us, and good luck with school.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
You're welcome. Thank you.